Hi guys, welcome to this stream highlights video. This is the Christmas edition where these hands were just taken from the last couple of weeks of my Christmas themed streams. If you're not already following me or signed up, subscribe, then like, follow, subscribe, share, etc. All that jazz to my YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and you can join my free Discord where you'll be able to stay up to date with everything I'm doing. We're running pretty hot lately. The challenge is going really well. So sit back, enjoy, and I hope you all have a really great Christmas. See you in the new year. Half pot check. I think 7-6 is a backdoor flush draw can bet, and without probably more checking. When we get check raised here with this combo, I think if I'm going to get sticky here, it's going to be more like ace king, ace queen. I think blocking ace is important, and just having like two overcards to some jacks is going to be more important. So this one's just going to be a pure fold. So not a good start. 7-6 easy call, and calling any turn bet. Interesting one. I would expect the opponent to go bigger there. This feels a little bit more mergy. Our hand could do some raising, I guess. The problem is on that card we get called by hands that are dominating us, like Jack 9, 9-8 of spades. So I think just prefer to call and realise my equity. 9-6 suited 3-bet sometimes, doing it this time. And half pot check on this board. This is going to be more of a range check board, small blind against button, because the buttons is going to have more of these pocket pairs of suited connectors. But out of the big blind, we do 3-bet more suited connectors, so this board hits us better. Here, I think we just fold the 7-6 now. We might even be behind some bluffs like Jack 9, 9-8, 7-8. So we just have a pretty easy fold. Jack's mixing and rolled low, so calling. Half pot will check call 1, and then Jacks is likely to check fold turn just because it's not blocking that much value and blocking bluffs. Opponent's bluffs are going to come from like some ace jack, king jack blocking queen X. So in this spot, people get this the wrong way round and they call too much with, like on the facing a turn barrel, they call too much with jacks and tens and fold too much with like nines and like other lower pairs like sixes, for example. Ignore the fact that this is 4 and 6s picks up equity, but on like a deuce turn. So we want to basically, when we're calling an opponent's like not repping thinner, we don't have value domination essentially because they're not really betting the turn with interesting spot, but I don't think jacks we call, not really blocking very, very well. Yeah. So I'll flick this in cash drop pot. In that spot, because opponent isn't going to bet the turn with like 10s and 9s, hands we have value domination with, and they're going to be more polarized to hands that are beating us and hands that aren't. We just prefer to call hands in that spot where we block, where we unblock more bluffs, basically. So jacks, for example, is blocking bluffs, like I said, from ace jack, king jack, whereas 6s and 9s aren't. Here with the jack flush draw, I think I just fold. He could have some nut flush draws, and then I just don't really like calling for that price with 2 undercards. Chances are we would have won, and he's not as likely to just jam it in with any flush draw there. That's not the nut flush draw when I have the jack of hearts because I'm blocking combo draws. So I think I'm pretty much drawing to my 9 outs there, like flush outs. So we've got 35% equity, so for that size I don't have the price. Tens. This player calls all in with any 2 pre. Like there's 6-5 off, 7-6 suited, so I'm just jamming for 80 bigs because I get called by a lot of worse hands here. Okay, he has it this time, which is a shame, but it's going to be fine at 80 big blinds regardless of opponent anyway with tens. Just benefits from folding out like king, queen off, ace, jack off. But yeah, notes on, oh, bink. You gotta love it. You gotta love the heat. Embrace the heat. Sevens will start small. Close to a range c-bet board, I think. Probably get away with it in the blinds. Now I'm going to polarize. Ace 10 we're going pot. I don't think small blind has any 4x. Ace jack we can check. Table 4, we don't do much overbetting out of position, but there is some that can be done. And here I'm just going to balance it with like flush draws. I'm going to have flush draws, straight draws as bluffs. This combo fits in nicely, just unblocking all the calling range. Now I think I'll just go pot. Bluffs are going to come from like 10x with a spade. It's like queen 10, ace 10, 10 9. These types of hands. Just stopping opponent improving to straights, 2 pairs flushes. Ace 9, we're going to go for a small value bet now. I think this opponent's range is going to be like a lot of 8s, 5s, stuff like that. There we go. Easy game. Queen 7 we're raising. Plenty of bluffs I can find here. Flush draws, straight draws, combo draws, 7x. Nines, I don't really want to give a free card on this board where there's just heaps of draws I get called by, so I'm just going to bet somewhat big. Queen 7 we check on that river, I think. Just a bit thin now when an opponent has bigger 2 pairs of straights. Yeah, we win. Nice. Ace jack, interesting. Don't think it's a range bet board on table 1, so it's half wood check. Same on table 2, but it's against a fish. I'm just going to kind of do what I need to do. And ace jack here, I think we just bet small. I'm going to do with my bluffs as well. It just looks like I've got so much ace x. Ace queen we're over bet. Jack 4 I'm going to fold. Short stacker, just not really going to be able to realise there. That big size, my outs are pretty grim. Ace queen we have a check now. This player could have some ace king, some ace 10, some traps, some sets. I think my hand becomes quite thin now. Yeah, nice. Well played, sir. Cool here with 4s with a couple of massive fish in here. Oh, flop a set. And I think we just want to, could start small. I think I'm going to lead. I don't, because if this reg on the button's got air, they're just going to check back a lot. And I want to put money in on this board against 2 massive fish. Now I'm betting big. Again, could go for a check raise, but I think against this player specifically, I just want to put money in. And pretty dreamy run out. I don't see much value in checking because both these players are going to check back nut flush draws. They might even check back hands as strong as ace queen. So I just want to shove and hope they get sticky with, yeah, ace x of hearts or clubs, basically. I don't expect the reg to ever call here. I'm just like never bluffing this spot. But I don't really care. I'm just trying to maximize against the massive fish in there. Ace queen off here. I think this deep, we're going to check back this board quite a lot. Ace queen, we're calling. Nice river. Pot donk. So I'm not advocating that I don't really see any value to raising ace queen. Like, this doesn't really make much sense, but I think we just call. Like, ace king I'd raise. That's terrible. Oh, bink and set. The heat continues. King 9 shoving in now against a fish. Start small with king 6. Actually, don't want to start small. I don't want to go half against this player. Wow. Punished. Don't give him a chop. No 6, no 9, no ace. Nice. 3-betting 9-5 off there, if you didn't see. King 6, this is a terrible combo, but playing against a 60 VPipper whose range is going to contain hands like 9-10 off. So against that range, I can just get tons of fold equity on the flop. They also call too wide. Pre-flop. On the flop, sorry, so they're just going to be left with like king 10 off, stuff like that. On the 4, we're going to use overbets. 10-8's nice, I'm blocking top pairs. Ace king's interesting one here. I think I am going to bet. Kind of a multi-purpose bet here. Get called by some worse hands from the button, like ace queen of diamonds, ace jack of diamonds, stuff like that. And we fold out better, like we fold out some 6s, 7s, 8s. I'm still uncapped here because I'm going to check this board a lot, 3-way. Because both players have sets, and also I want to get check raised in against the button with some of my overpairs. So I quite like that. Taking it down, winning the small pots. $700 up so far. Running pretty hot. Big bet or check, I think, on this board. I think ace queen off with the ace of diamonds can go into the big bet. And then we're going to use some lower pockets as well. I do have some jacks here. I do have some king jack suited here. I do have some ace king here. On the ace, I think check back is fine. Queens don't love this min 4-bet, but I think my hand's going to play best as call, and then get it in on a non-ace, non-king flop. Well, this player, potentially an absolute spewer as well. So we're all in. There we go. Spear was correct. Ace queen, I think, just call. Nice. Oh, another set. Yeah, just fast playing this one. Opponent doesn't have an overpair, then they're going to have something that's got a lot of equity here. Like king, queen, ace, queen, straight draws, overcards, so much stuff. So I just want to get this one in. I'm unblocking everything. That continues. We're just all in. Nothing else to do here. Calls me off with ace, queen. Running it once. Nice. So I am running hot. I get that. I completely get that. I'm running well at the moment. I'm not deluded to think I'm going to maintain a 9 big blind win rate. However, I am playing well. Knowing how to play spots, knowing your opponents, is really important to winning in the long run. Ace king, we're just tripling for stacks. Aces, now I think we check and hope opponent does find a bluff or get sticky versus bet check bet line with king queen. And hopefully on table 1, opponent has ace jack, because then we don't win the big jackpot, but we win the second one. Please have ace jack. I think I'm going to check aces on that river. Am I? Right, ace king, we're all in. I think I'm going to block aces actually. Oh, I mean, it's an absolute dream run out. Absolute dream run out, but just have ace jack one time for the jackpot. Ace is okay. So I am calling, but because I'm ahead of queen jack, pocket jacks, I block flushes, but there is going to be some 9, 10, king 10 here, but I obviously can't fold my hand when I have value domination, and also some bluffs. Okay, but I don't think my hand's a shove, because he can have some flushes, he can have straights. But just, yeah, some dreamy runouts going on. Jacks here, we call 4-bet, gets shoved on. Jacks is going to be a fold in these positions, I think. King Jack exploit gonna go for a bet check bet. Yeah, I think we fold jacks and call queens in these positions. Just running into a range there of queens plus an ace king, so I think jacks is folding. Because at least with queens, there's a chance that he's doing it with jacks sometimes. King jack on the ace, we check. And the reason I say 100k is because I went on a 100k stretch of hands where I kind of, during that 25 buy-in downswing, where I kind of was break even, slightly losing. So I would even advise more, like 250, fine. That's why I'm doing the million hand challenge, because a million is just going to give you a big enough sample to be able to take assumptions from about your strategy. And if you don't think you can ever achieve playing that amount of hands, then I would say you're not playing enough. Horrible run out with ace 10, but hopefully opponent has ace queen, because then we do win the jackpot. Just going to go half, I think. Just to try and get a hero from a straight or a flush. No jackpot again. Yeah, a lot of people spend too much, like, wasting too much time on solvers when they don't know what they're doing or what they're looking for, or just trying to learn outputs as opposed to finding overriding principles. Yeah, not knowing how to use them effectively and efficiently, basically, and looking at what the output is. But that's based on you playing against a solver, not playing against a human. Whereas I'm a firm believer that you need to get in the mix and play hands against humans, see what they're doing, build up your hand reading skills, find out the meta game. Ace queen, I think, is worth a small bet here. Ace king, getting check jammed on here is going to be grim. Your opponent's going to have a lot of queens, ace king, jacks here. So I'm going to check and realise, because I think I can still potentially bluff river, and just the implied odds of hitting and beating the king of clubs, or jacks of a club, or queens with a club. I am just going to shove here. So I'm going to play my bluffs. So therefore, I think I'm going to shove here as well with this one. My bluffs here are going to come from basically ace, king with no club. Just blocking aces and ace king, blocking aces with a club, I think is going to be important there. Aces, that board, interesting. Don't mind checking back. Ace queen easy call, I think. Could be another set over set situation here with aces. I'm hoping again for the jackpot for a jack or queen river and we lose to quads. Ace queen easy fold. I think just going small on the turn there with range is just a simplified way of playing it. Just 4-betting big here with ace king, deep against this tiny 3-bet from a streamer, and then cold call from an absolute whopper. Ace king here, I'm not to be folding, but I think my best line is just to check and down, to stick it in. They're just going to have so many random hands. Yes, I'm behind sometimes. That's not the point against Fisher. And the plan still remains, check and allow them to bluff. It's just going to have like ace jack offsuit here, king queen offsuit. So when they have all of these combos, they just have far, far, far too many bluffs in their range. So I think I'm just going to call. Don't see the value in shoving. One of the worst rivers. Oh, we win. That's what I mean. He has ace-10 off as well pre-flop. So just understanding these players is so important about what's going to be the most profitable line. And when they have offsuit combos, I don't think, like, people probably don't realise how, if they have offsuit combos, how many combos that is. So they're just going to have way, way, way too many bluffs there. Table 2, just going for stacks of a straight. Keep it simple. Might have a bigger straight, but there's sets, there's 2 pairs, there's some combo stuff going on, so I'm just all in. We found a bluff. Wow. Small 4-bet, deep stacked against somebody playing 54, 35, 16 over 200 hands. I will not be folding this King Jack suited. We flop a flush draw. Aces, I'm going to call. And then lead river, I think. They've gone 3/4 half. Quite mergy, I think. And now I'm going to do this. Get called by a 10. Nice. The King Jack flush draw. Do I just want to run it for this price? Against a 54 VPIP player, they can obviously have aces, right? Against aces, I've got 35% equity, but they're playing 54, 35, 16. They're just going to be doing this with just complete garbage. So I think I'm just going to run it. They've got it. We're only running it once, though. Of course we hit. Of course we hit. The heat is real. Some of them, they all play differently, so I have no information on that player, so I can't make any assumptions, right? So some of them do just, they play, but the ones who I think you're implying to, I believe, they play more like 50, 15, 5, right? So they limp call a lot pre, they don't 3-bet, they call hands. Whereas guys who are playing 54, 35, 16, they're open raising tons more. They're isolating its limps tons more. They're 3-betting tons more. So therefore, if they're doing both those things, chances are they're 4-betting more as well, because they're just naturally more aggressive. And they're like putting money in pre-flop. They're like clicking the raise button essentially. So if you've got somebody who's playing 50, 10, 5, and they're not 3-betting much, chances are they're not 4-betting much. People like to 3-bet, in general, like to 4-bet as well, because they like to click raise from these types of recreational players. So yeah, somebody playing 50, 35, 16, I think they're going, my intuitive response would be that they're going to therefore 4-bet pretty loose as well, or overvalue hands, or just spew with like ace 10 off. I see it all the time. And also, like, it is what it is. It's a tiny 4-bet with deep. There's some amount of implied odds against a player like that with a post-flop edge. And I'm getting it, like, worst case scenario that I run into aces and I got 35% equity. Like, it's not that bad, right? When there's already the set that whatever was in the pot, I'm not that far off the price. And that's based on them having aces and calling. If they've got queens, I've got an overcard. So it's almost a flip. And if they've got any nonsense that they could have, well then I got fold equity as well, so it's just brilliant. Jacks, we can do anything. I'm just going to check it this time. If I blocked Queen Jack suited, I think this makes for a better triple, because the opponent's just therefore going to have more worse pocket pairs that they might stack off with. Aces obviously is the hand to triple off with. Maybe some kings that block Queen X as well, because I unblock jacks. Here, I think check is the best play. The opponent's going to have some like counterfeited hands now under pairs. I do lose value from ace highs and 10s, but I'm going to want some strong-ish hands in my range there, not just ace highs. So I think checking that sometimes there is fine. Queen 10 suited, I think here can go either way. I'm just going to start small. King Jack, we're not folding yet. Queen 10, I think we can check turn here. And queens this deep, I think we're mainly just calling. Fine line from opponent with the ace 3. Queen 10, we will call. Here was 7. 7s is kind of like too bad to show down, but too good to bluff. I think I'm just going to prefer like the lower pockets to bluff. Queen 10, I think we fold here because the imposition's just got all of the ace king. I don't like having my 10 blockers, so I think I can just get to call like my king eight to start with, but then my traps, my ace queen before I call this. So I am going to fold. And it's interesting how many bluffs opponent finds there, but I think, yeah, I just can be slightly more selective there in those positions when they don't have as many floats, and I don't know enough about that opponent to suggest that they float super, super wide. Queens, we could value bet, but I think in general on that river, we check. I think of a lot of opponents' range is going to be some medium strength pockets. I mean, that's just a clear value bet. The 3/4 C bet. Yeah, I mean, okay. We'll move on. I'm going to jam over this. This pre-flop raise is just going to be super wide. They're only 75 big blinds deep. I have a pair, cash drop pot. People are super loose. He finds aces. I would advise reg tables and focus on improving quality of play, because then you're going to get better at poker essentially and be able to progress up the limits quicker. Obviously, a downside to that is you're not playing as many hands, but just find your comfort zone. Like, everyone is different. Some players are able to play more tables because they've got, you know, a simpler game, or they can think quicker. Some people need a bit more time to execute. So yeah, everyone's different. Everyone's got different skill sets. Everyone wants to achieve different things from poker. So find your comfort zone, find your niche, and commit to it over a long period of time. Don't chop and change too often, because then you are going to mess it up. Like, people want everything tomorrow, whereas, you know, you've got to see poker as a long-term vision. These things take time. And here, don't love this big bet three-way, but this player is a recreational. They could just be overvaluing, like weak queen X here. Twos on table 3. This is against a weaker player, so I'm just going to start with a big bet, I think, and get greedy. The king, queen, okay. There is some ace jack in both ranges. There's probably some jack 9 in both ranges. Ace 10 with check raising. The king, queen, I think I just want to bet something like 3/4. Both players are going to have tons of continues from like pair and flush draw, pair and straight draw. Jack 10, I think we have to call here. And yeah, this player's only 20 bigs deep, so just, yeah, want to bet there at king, queen, I think. I think the Jack 10 we can probably fold. Just going to be quite a under bluff spot, I think. And the ace 10, I think I'm going to block. Like, a lot of things you can do here. So I think blocking is good. Just allows me to value bet like still some worse heart hands than just the nuts there. I don't want to really try and carve out two sizes because I think it's going to be difficult to balance. I think we just flat top set here against big bets. I'm going to be picky against my check raisers here. It's probably just going to center around bottom set, top two pair, and then some combo draws. This big size sucks. I think we call tens. Just feels like a lot of jacks and queens, but that's not what what all their range is. So I don't think I can base too much weight on that. Like a big blind 3-betting range should just be a lot more hands than that. I imagine they shove their jacks and queens a lot here on the turn. It's a spot like I don't really know how this player's playing, so I'm going to kind of stick to theory when they should have bluffs in their range. So I don't think I'm folding tens. And I just think the best play is to jam. Okay. He has it. I mean, it's a spot where, like I said, I'm not completely sure how they're playing, and they should have bluffs in that size. So if I get it wrong and fold tens, it's just going to be a massive mistake. So therefore, I'm just going to stick to what I know from theory, and I think tens just stacks off there. King Queen, I'm going all in. This player's going to be shoving a lot wider than King Queen off, especially at 8 bigs. Here we go, 6-4 suited. Hold. Hold. Nice. Jesus Christ, how's this player come along? So the idea here to use this size was to get this whale early position to stack off of any two for 40 bigs, and ace 5 is going to be ahead of that range, and then just fold out these two players here, and then somehow this player's come along for 40 bigs. Oh my god, and now the reg's called as well. Like, what's the reg? What is happening here? This is a completely bonkers pot. Do I just shove on that flop? I think they're not really going to have pairs. Like if they have pairs, they're squeezing pre. This is really interesting. If they have pairs, they're probably squeezing pre when it's a short stacker, right? So they're probably just going to be weighted around like some form of suited type hands. And here I think I'm just going all in. I've got reasonable equity against this. I'm ahead of flush draws. And this just feels nonsensey to me. It's not really ever a pair. It might be some like ace 6, I guess, but that should fold pre. So I think this is just going to be a lot of like 9-10 of club, like 9-10 of club, stuff like that. So I am all in. Nice. Like a book, hold, no club, no 5. Massive pot. Nice. Nice. That's how it's done. The ace deuce flush draw here we're raising. We get to fold out bigger ace highs, and we get value from like straight draws, combo draws that we're ahead of. So more likely to like just check call some other flush draws. I might do something spicy here. Just a bit of an exploit line. Plan to block shove. Because here I'll get raised by hands that don't have much showdown, and then they're going to have to fold. Hands I would ordinarily call a bet and then bluff me on the river when I have to give up. So I'm talking like Queen 10, King 10, King Queen, all these hands. If I get called here by Ace Jack or a set, I've got tons of equity, so it's just going in. And if they start overfolding some Jack X and stuff there, then it's great. I mean, that's just worked out an absolute dream. Half pot on this board, table 2, 9-7 suited, low frequency 3-bet. Ace King going to 3-bet big against this player. Definitely barreling again with 9-7. Like I said before, this board is better for my range than other positions because I've got more suited connectors. It's going half pot here. I block 6-7 suited, which is nice. Ace King with super deep here. I'm going to start with a check. And now I'm going to barrel. 9-7, we have a check, I believe. Snap check back. 7-5, we win. That's not a cool pre. Might have to relabel that player. It's definitely not a cool pre. Post flop, they played it fine. 7-5 suited in like high stakes, low rate games, I would suspect is not a pure call. Specifically in those positions as well, like small blind against button is better because how ranges work. Small blind is going to 3-bet more of the like linear stuff at the top, right? So 7-5 suited is going to have better unblocking effects in a sense. It's not card sharing. So on the lower boards, it's doing well. Whereas against a big blind 3-betting range, 7-5 suited is going to be dominated heaps by 7-8 suited, 7-9 suited, Jack 7 suited, Ace 5 suited. So they need to be a lot more careful in those positions. But like I said, in high stakes games, I imagine it's not a pure continue anyway. So in low stakes, high rate games, just click fold. Like players overplay these connected suited hands so much, and they'll probably find in their database they're spewing heaps. This is an interesting one. Check call lead. I think I just have to call. Like blocking the straights, blocking some 2 pairs and sets, and unblocking clubs. I think I just have to call. You might have some 10x. Like pocket 8, 10-8 makes sense, but I think I'm just going to click call at Ace 9. That's it for this one, guys. Like I said at the start of the video, check out my other channels, check out my YouTube, join my free Discord, step to date of everything. And yeah, I'll be posting more videos, more shorts going forward for Christmas. Scores on the doors to finish this session. We made $1,800. Now, I think that's fair to say I ran pretty hot. Our EV was $700. But I think hopefully what I want to get over to everyone is that like heat comes and goes. Like you're going to run hot sometimes. You're going to go on a downswing sometimes. But either of those isn't going to impact your long-term win rate. Your long-term win rate is going to come from playing good poker and implementing a decent strategy that you can implement time and time again, familiarize yourself with it, simple strategy, and understand that the small pots are going to be the biggest difference between whether you win or lose, not how often you get dealt aces.